Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton, that
Mantis.
guy. And today we are discussing David Corenswet and is he starting to sweat? About all of the negative comments he's gotten thus far with his portrayal of Superman in this whole 34-second teaser trailer we got. So, before we get off on a tangent, we're going to get on into this video, Mantis, if you are ready. Doesn't really
I'm
matter at the
sweating.
moment.
Let's go.
It is a warm day. Let's go. All right, guys. So, we're talking about David Corenswet and whether he is actually sweating or not. And that is due to a lot of the criticism that he and James Gunn and the overall Superman character itself have gotten with this new movie getting ready to release. For those of you who are fans of the channel and have been with us a while, or got really bored and went through all of our 180 something videos that we have, you decided to start watching a lot of them. We've done a lot of videos on this. We did a video when the suit initially released. We got the first images. It did not go over well with a lot of people, or a chunk of people. Let's not say a lot. I can't give you exact figures, but with a chunk of people, we're very vocal. Always the negative or
The
more
vocal
vocal than the
did not like it.
positive. Um,
Yeah, the vocal people that did say stuff, it was mostly negative. If people liked it, they didn't say they liked it.
yeah, right? They weren't as outspoken, and that's usually how it goes. And then we got the second
Mhm.
images where we saw the Kent font, and again, people had so much negative to say about it. Well, then we got the teaser trailer, okay, and again, people had so much negative to say about it. All right, so with all of that in mind, David Cornset was asked. Yeah, I guess it was an interview ish kind of thing. It's weird now because you think of how interviews used to be versus how they are now. It's just some random
Mhm.
podcaster guy probably talking to him. But he was interviewed and he was asked, "Are you going to continue to play Superman?" Now, when you think about like, okay, you starred in a movie that it was a one-off movie, right? It was just a one and done. And they're like, maybe there's a chance for a sequel. Like, are you going to star in that, right? Are you going to take over? Are you going to be on the role again? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they will do a sequel. Maybe they won't. But when you talk about a character like Superman, that's a little weird to be asked when the full trailer hasn't even released yet, let alone the movie. Mantis, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, because we talked about this before, and I kind of had to laugh at it because I told you I was like, this happens. I feel like this exact same interview, not question per se, but the spirit of the interviewer, um, happens a lot in sports. And this is from at least from the article that I'm reading from Screen Rant. It was from an interview done with Esquire España, which I guess is it's probably a Spain Esquire magazine. I don't know. Either way, he's quoted as or they not quoted. He deflected, is what they said. Deflecting, Cornsweat stated, "I don't think it's up to me to answer that." Regarding his future as Superman, the actor clarified, "It's up to James Gunn, who had a terrific imagination, or sorry, who has a terrific imagination, and he is just there where they need him to be to say what was written, although that doesn't always happen." I just, to me, like, again, you're casting a Superman figure,
I was like,
right?
did you freeze?
Uh, someone to Yeah, you're casting someone to play Superman. If I'm James Gunn, I'm not casting Superman to play one film. Okay. Again, this is what I said in this other video that we just did. You're thinking ahead. If you're any type of good CEO businessman, you're thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead. You got to play chess with this stuff. So if I'm, at least if it's me, if I'm the director and I'm doing these castings and I look at who I'm casting as Superman, I want to make sure he's going to be in for multiple movies. I don't want to have to just after the first movie like, oh, we got to switch, like, unless something tragic happens. Again, we did see that happen in Marvel with Chadwick Boseman. Unfortunate,
R.I.P.
RIP. Yeah, so that is not this case. This is just a quite frankly just a dumb question to ask David Cornsweat, and I get to some extent I understand why the interviewer asked it, and it's primarily like you said based off of uh reports of what was coming out of the test screenings as well as a lot of backlash online and social media primarily from uh major Zack Snyder fans. I would say a lot of the tweets and stuff on social media that I've seen have of just bashing this have mainly come from people that are really big fans of the Zack Snyder verse. Again, I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder. I like Man of Steel. I like those films. Um,
So
I
Mantis will
just
tell
don't.
you that uh, Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill's Superman, that's his favorite, right?
Yes,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
whereas
As
mine,
Superman, yes,
yeah, as Superman, mine goes back to Christopher Reeve. Old 1978 Superman. That's my Superman. And again, we're allowed to have different ones, right? That's the beauty of the characters. You can pick your iteration as what's your favorite. But I do love the Henry Cavill and the Zack Snyder Superman, right? It's not hating on it. But I also realize that it doesn't matter how much I love it. That's not that universe isn't coming to fruition
yeah,
anymore. It's over,
yeah,
right? So I gotta, I
yeah.
gotta, I'm a fan, obviously, of Superman. I gotta take the universe for what it is now and hope the next things they put out are good, right?
Yeah,
And
it's uh,
go ahead.
okay. I was gonna say I kind of look at this as stupid as it sounds, kind of like the president, right? Like, not to bring politics in it, but it kind of equates to this, right? You may not like who the president is at the time that you're watching this video, or I mean, who knows? Because it changes every 4 years, right? Well, usually, it could be this, a president's second
There's
term in
potential
the
to
same.
change every 4 years.
It's potential, yeah. But we'll just say that it doesn't matter who the president is. You can hate him, but you should want him to succeed, him or her. It hasn't been a her yet, in at least in the USA, but you should want that person to succeed because if they do, that means the country is doing well. I think of that the same way as I do about this film. I don't. You may hate Henry Cornsweet. You may hate David
Yes, if they had a
Cornsweet.
kid together, you would hate Henry Corenswet.
Yeah. You may hate David Corenswet. You may hate James Gunn, right? But you should want it to succeed because that means Superman is good and it's awesome, right? Like I hope it does well. I want it to succeed. I'm not rooting for it to fail. It just seems like a lot of these people really want it to fail. And I think it's again we've gone over this ad nauseum
Now, what does ad nauseum mean?
about there's not enough evidence out there yet, in my opinion, that this movie is going to be bad or terrible, or that even this person should be asking this question. They're asking it, the interviewers asking because they know that people like Screen Rant will quote it in their articles and they'll get clicks. That's why. And
True.
I told you this if I was David Cornsweet and this interviewer asking me this question, I would be like, what in the fuck kind of a question is that? The movie's not out yet. We've only released one trailer. No one has really seen the full film. Why are you asking me this?
Well,
Plus, I have no idea.
Well,
Ask
my thing
James
is,
Gunn.
well, yeah, but it has nothing to do with that, right? Because again, like you said, everybody knows James Gunn is birthing a new universe, right? And Superman is we've said it many times, Superman is the focal point of this DC universe, okay? Whether it was the DCEU or the DCU. So you know damn well he's going to be slated to play in multiple more movies, right? You are asking that in a douchery fashion because
Yes.
of the hate that he has received thus far, whether it be the suit, whether it be the first teaser trailer, all this other stuff. You were asking that, then, oh, hey, everybody's kind of hated on you so far. Are you going to keep playing the role? Okay, that it is a very douchey thing to ask. Now, I will say on the opposite side of that, as a actor, I have to imagine. I can only speculate. I'm not obviously, but we have seen a lot of our beloved characters get ruined by other actors. And now I'm not saying it's the actor's fault. It could be the writing, it could be the direction, could be even the fucking producers, right? But we have seen
Mhm.
a lot of franchises and a lot of characters succumb to terrible writing and direction, right? sometimes it is just the actor, right? Whereas,
Oh yeah.
Superman is one of the most iconic characters in all of media, right? As whether it be comic book, movies, anything else other than video games. He's not fared too well in video games. But I mean, he's the iconic superhero, right? He's the what people are going to say is the first superhero. We're talking from 1938. So as an actor, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, am I doing justice to the character? Do I want to be that person that destroys Superman? Right? Regardless of what, because even if the writing is shit, they're still going to blame the actor. Most people, I say not fans, most people that will maybe go watch the movie and all that, the vocal people, the comic book Karens of the world are going to go and blame the actor, right? Even though it could be the direction. It's like Jake Lloyd from Star Wars, right? Who played young Anakin in the original episode 1, right? That poor kid got so much hate, and he ended up, like, he's been arrested for DUI and drugs and all these other things. Like, he's had a rough life because he was looked at, you destroyed this franchise back in the day. Now, a lot of people won't remember that, and I think
Right.
these last 3 have done a lot worse to the franchise. But
Yeah.
back when that prequel's released, he was the downfall. And like, he was an 8-year-old kid, maybe 10 at the time. Like,
Mhm.
he was playing the character how it was written, right? But he got blamed
Yeah.
for it, and it weighed heavily on him. Now, you think you're playing Superman. Do you want that, right? Do you want people blaming you for killing this character to where people are tired of seeing it? Because we have talked about, too, I don't know that any franchise, but also with DC, I don't know that they're going to survive another reboot in the next, if this movie doesn't do well, I don't know that Superman's going to survive another live action reboot right away, or it's going to be, 10
No.
years.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They're gonna have to ride or die with this.
We ride together. We die together.
Yeah.
It's they already spent the money. It's already that. I mean, it's done. Like they're not gonna. That's why I said like even asking him, and some people will probably say, well, maybe the interviewer was just trying to find out some behind the scenes stuff of maybe the direction of the next Superman movie or any other new film he's going to be in the universe, right? I don't believe that for a second. I don't think that's what this interviewer was trying to get at. Probably was trying to get a reaction like I would have gave her. Uh, Unfortunately, that's probably why I'm not in Hollywood. Well, that's not the reason, but it's I that's one reason I would not succeed. I would say, uh, just saying what I think. You got to be more uh, political with about
Yeah,
it,
playing the
especially
game, as I've been told
yeah,
recently,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to play the game, and David Corenswet knows that. I would say you brought up a good point about him taking this role or going out for the role. It's one of those cases where you're not playing an extra. Okay, you're not playing a character that maybe people aren't that familiar with, like Mr. Terrific that's in this film. You're playing one of the main characters in the
the
DCU
main character.
universe.
The main character.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So like
Guys, I love Batman, but Superman is the main character in the DC universe.
yeah, you have to understand that you're going to be the target of the praise, but you're also going to be the target of all the ridicule as well. And you have to be ready for that. It's not like anything else. Again, I hate doing sports analogies, but it's like being the coach of the Knicks. Like the New York media market, sports media market is ruthless. Like you could win 2 games in New York City as the Knicks head coach and everyone's cheering you or whatever, and then you could lose the next game and they want you out. Like,
You're dead to
it
me.
flipped.
I don't remember. Because he is dead to me!
Yeah, it's like that. It's very passionate fans, and Superman is exactly like that. They call them fans. Is short for fanatics, right? Like people are crazy about this. That good or bad, there are people that literally will their daily mental state will revolve around these things. Sports seems to be lends more itself to that. But I know there are people out there, as crazy as it sounds, probably go to bed cursing James Gunn because of the trailer that they saw. Like it's the wildest thing.
Well, I think part of it too, you run into the problem of when we think back, like again, I'm a Christopher Reeve fan, right? 1978, the original Superman movie come out. Once and I know a lot of us Superman fans, we don't like to discuss movies 3 and 4, and I understand that, and we're not going to get into that. But even after the 4th movie release, how long did we go before we had another Superman movie when we rebooted, right?
Mhm.
When Batman, I think it was 97. Now, quote me if, correct me if I'm wrong. I say that I'm
Returns?
gonna when I edit, I will correct myself. But I feel like Batman and Robin was 97.
Yeah, 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 I think you're right because there's a big. I want to say Returns was 92, um, and then there was a big
We had
break in
Batman
there.
Forever as the third one,
Yeah,
and then Batman and Robin. I'm pretty sure it was 97, but I will have already posted it. It'll already be on when I first mentioned that on the screen
I think
there.
it's 91 was
But I
Batman
I
Returns.
feel
I
like it
can't
was
remember.
97 ish in that time frame. But we went a while before we got Batman Begins, right? We went a while before you rebooted the character. Where nowadays, I mean, you think of in that time span of from 2001 to present, we've rebooted Spider-Man 3 times, or we've had a third Spider-Man, and the third one's getting ready to have a fourth movie. The first one had 3 movies, and the other one had 2. Like we reboot characters so quickly now that fans, and we have done a other video on this. Fans don't have time to kind of decompress and kind of get over like. The other problem was with Henry Cavill was we were so close to having another movie with him. We saw him in Black Adam and all this, and then all of a sudden it's boom, off. You're dead to me, and we're going in a new direction, right? It wasn't like we had 5 or 6 years without a Superman movie, or even 7 or 8 years, and then we're like, hey, we're going to redo the universe. And then the other problem, we got the Zack Snyder Justice League, right? We got that one, and people are like, oh, this is awesome, this is cool. Nope, dead, killing it off. So I think that adds to why fans are so like kind of up in arms. They're so nitpicky on the James Gunn is because we just got the Snyderverse, and that's one of those things that we like we talked about, like when we say acceptance, right? Hey, it's over, right? We have to accept the Superman for what we're going to get, right? Well, fans did make the release of the Snyderverse or a release of the Snyder cut of Justice League happen, right? Fans bombarded.
Oh
Same
yeah.
thing with Deadpool, right? Fans bombarded the studios with saying, "Hey, you need to do this," and they're like, "Oh shit, this will make us some money." So I'm not saying that fans don't have the power, but at this point, we gotta accept fate, man. Like it's dead. I would still love to see Henry Cavill play Superman and continue on, but it's done. Now we did just do a video where I said it'd be cool to see him play in. We do an absolute universe if you're fans of the
Mhm.
comics, where he's the darker Superman. Like grew up in a lot harder times. Be cool to see them run parallel, but is that going to happen? No. So, but I don't think I think right now because they're trying to capitalize both Marvel and DC, everybody's trying to capitalize on how popular these characters are. That you're not giving people time to digest, let it die down, and then reintroduce these characters. It's like, nope, we need a new universe. You had a year and a half, 2 years off. Now we need a new universe, and then people are still kind of like, I'm still thinking about the Snyderverse, right? We don't have that mourning period.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, if there's money to be made, they'll do it. Um, I just worry that it's being stripped down to substance that there is none. Like we're getting shells of these movies and these things. And again, things change. Hollywood changes, movies change, franchises change. Franchises change hands, as we've seen with X-Men, and that plays a role in it as well. With the DCU, and I know we've answered this before. Superman has to do well. It just has to. I'm not even saying the character Superman has to do well. I'm saying the movie has to do well. you need a really good start to get the plane off the ground. And if you can't even get the plane off the ground with your first film, yeah, it's just going to be a fight, and there's already going to be that negative connotation to it. And they don't have the luxury of being what Iron Man was. They don't have that luxury anymore. That's gone. Like everyone has already seen what Marvel did and the success and the plan that they used. So you can't just play dumb anymore. That can't happen.
Well, yeah, but it's also different. It's not like you're starting out with a Green Lantern or a Mister Terrific movie. You're starting out with a Superman movie, right? Again, like,
Hmm.
and I feel for him, right? Not that I've been an actor, or, I'm not in that kind of position, but you are taking on one of the most, if not the most iconic role in comic books, right? And you're leading the charge to birth this new universe that is supposed to be this. You figure, like, with the MCU, you're wanting this multi-billion-dollar franchise to birth and make so much money, but also you're leading the charge of this character that has also had very iconic people play it. It's been a very, very iconic throughout out film, comic, animated. I mean, it is a
Hmm.
lot of pressure. So, when we said in the beginning, we were kind of, well, I was joking when I said, David Cornswet sweating, right? I mean, how could you not? Right? There is so
Yeah. Oh
much
yeah.
on your shoulders right now. You would almost have to be Superman to be able to hold it all up. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
agree. Yeah. Like I said, it's a tough role, and I'm sure he thought about that before he accepted it. So, or even probably went out for it. Actually, it was funny. I was reading an article, or it wasn't really an article. It was more of a little blurb I saw that Arnold Schwarzenegger's son actually went out for this role as well. He didn't get it.
Was it
Um,
Patrick, or what's his name?
yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick. It
Okay.
was
Yeah, I saw
Patrick.
that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, that's funny. Didn't get it. I've not seen anything Patrick has been in, but neither have I really seen anything David Corn Sweat's been in either. It's just, I thought that was funny. The Schwarzenegger went out for a superhero film.
Well, because
So
actually in the 80s, when Christopher Reeve was chosen, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you ever watched the Christopher, or the Super slash Man
Superman.
Christopher Reeve
Yeah.
story, like, they say that Arnold Schwarzenegger, there were so many big prominent actors that wanted to be Superman, but they said we wanted a no name actor, and they went with Christopher Reeve. But it's funny because
Mhm.
Arnold had actually auditioned for Superman, because you think about it, in the comics, he's this big swole motherfucker, which in the 80s,
Oh yeah.
who did you go to for Conan, Terminator, anybody who needed to be jacked, you went to Arnold, right? So for
Oh yeah.
somebody who
Yeah.
could play a comic book accurate kind of Superman, you expect now. It's amazing when you watch that documentary. A little tangent side note here is how much, because you think about Christopher Reeves when you see him or Christopher Reeve when you see him in the movie, he's not like super jacked like Henry Cavill is or Chris Hemsworth is playing Thor, but he is decently he's in good shape. But when you see how scrawny he was before he went out for the role, like when he does his first audition, if you watch that documentary, he is
Mhm.
scrawny for his height, and he put on some mass to play Superman. It's actually impressive. It made me kind of look
How
like
tall is he,
six
or was he? I guess I should say.
three, 6'3" ish.
So probably him putting on some weight probably was a little bit difficult for him. I mean, he's not like a 7 foot guy trying to put on weight, which is damn near impossible, probably. But like, I mean, a guy 6'3", 6'4" is it's not easy to put on that much weight quickly to look like that. So,
Well, that's nothing
plus again,
quickly.
this was back. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you didn't have as
yeah.
many of the
So
cool fucking
I don't
steroids
know.
and shit. But um
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, there wasn't a no one really cared back then about any of that. It was just whatever you need to do.
I guess if we want to break this down to final thoughts, is just I wish people would give, like, it's almost an impossible role, right? Because you're gonna have so many people who love the Snyderverse, so many people who are fans of the comics, so many people are fans of the character. Like, there's so much scrutiny on David Corenswet right now that I feel sorry for him because it's not fair. And again, we've gotten either still images or a 34-second teaser trailer. uh, People are just we're in a society right now where so many people don't like to give things a chance, right? And the negative outweighs the positive so much as far as the voice, how vocal it is, and how much attention it gets. That I just wish people would give it more of a chance before saying, "Oh, are you even going to play Superman again?" Like, what kind of dumb question is that? Yeah, he's going to play Superman unless you guys try to destroy him just because you want to see
Mhm.
something fail because it gets you more clicks and headlines watching something get destroyed that you just never even gave a fair chance to. I don't know. That's just my little
Yeah.
soapbox.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say I don't necessarily feel. I
I do because it's a
empathize with
lot of
him.
pressure, man.
I empathize with him that he is in that situation. However, one is he's getting paid a lot of money to do that. Two, he chose it. It's not like he just had to do it. But also, again, he had to have known. He knew the stakes of what he was doing. But also, what I would say is my final thought, maybe something to think about as well, is it's not like this is anything new here. I mean, we saw this to maybe not to this degree because I don't think maybe social media wasn't as bad back then. But even when Man of Steel came out, people were comparing Henry Cavill to Christopher Reeve. They were. Um, Maybe not as much. I think that shifted, especially after they saw the film. It shifted into the character that was written by Zack Snyder was not who was portrayed previously, going to that dark thing, him breaking Zod's neck. Oops, spoiler alert. That whole thing that happened there was kind of like this. What the hell just happened? He never does that. So there was some backlash, not necessarily as uh, of Henry Cavill playing him, but more or less how the character was written. This
Well, but
Yes.
that makes it worse is because this seems like it's going more back true to form of a more positive, more hopeful
Yeah.
Superman, and people are hating on it worse. I'm like, but when Man of Steel
It's a,
came out, everybody hated on the fact that he snapped Zod's neck.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily that back then I say back then they're not necessarily hating on Henry Cavill playing the role. They were hating on the way Superman was written. There's still people that hate that film, like prominent people that hate, say
Well, to
prominent
be
critics
fair,
that still hate that film.
if you look at the
You know,
box office numbers, everybody whines right now
yeah,
that like, oh, we should have kept it with the Snyderverse. Well, the box office numbers didn't support it, right? So some of you motherfuckers that are saying, I know, there's a lot of fans that did go see it, but the box office numbers didn't support anywhere
yeah,
near like what Marvel was doing, so they gave up on it, right? So for you motherfuckers out there that are complaining that no, you did not go see it in theaters, fuck you.
yeah. I mean, and again, it's this is always going to be the case. There's always going to be people that it's never going to live up to their ideal version of the character, and that's just unfortunate. It's like, again, I'm just happy we're getting something new. It's not that I disliked Henry Cavill. I would have been fine with him continuing on. I'd have been fine with it. However, I'm also okay with him going this direction and being a different Superman and being more upbeat. If I just hope it is successful and he does a decent job at it. So I agree. I think it's people just need to simmer down. We've said this a million times. Just like, can we just at least wait until the trailers are out? Like, I don't know. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting for me as we're covering it. I know it's exhausting for David trying to go. I don't know. Go to the grocery store and buy some fucking beer and getting hounded by these idiots asking him stupid ass questions.
Are
He's
you gonna
going to
play
his car
Superman
probably.
again? No,
Like I'd be
no, it's a
like,
one and done. One of the most
yeah,
iconic
like
roles in movie history. No, it's one and done.
get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So
So, all right, guys, I we could continue on this, dude. We could probably do an 8-hour video for this, but we don't want to do that for you guys. However, if you have made it with us this far, we definitely appreciate it. We thank you. Consider though giving the video a like. He's going to show you where. We always put it at the end. We don't like to bombard you because maybe you didn't like the video. Who the fuck knows? But if you did, the least you can do is hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on all of our exclusive DCU content that we have coming out. which we cover all the news. We're getting ready to, I mean, hopefully we'll get a fucking full trailer here before some point before the movie actually releases. Maybe we'll get it as the fucking beginning opening credits of the movie. I don't know at this point, right? We'll see a full trailer
Yeah.
for the movie as we're watching the movie. And then clicking on the bell notifications so you don't miss out on all of the news that we're bringing as well. If you are fans of the comics, even if you've not ever opened a comic before, but you're interested in it, we are opening up and we are broadening our horizons on the channel to include what is happening with the all in DC comics. We have a lot of new things going on with the new Justice League Unlimited, the Absolute Universe, as well. At the time of recording here in March, April begins the summer of Superman. We are going to see a huge surge in Superman related comics, as well as a reprint of Action Comics #1 from June 1938, the first appearance of Superman. So, if you have your little bell notifications clicked, you will get alerted as we release these videos.
Please do it. Also, let us know in the comments. Do you think, David Cornsweat deserves all the hate? Or do you think maybe should people just maybe wait a little bit and then, line up to firing squad after the movie comes out? I don't know. Just my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yes, let us know. Curious. And then, respectfully, you don't have to be respectful to us. I mean, we appreciate if you do, but you don't have to be. But be respectful to each other. The whole point of this channel is everybody has their own opinions. Everybody has their own Supermans they like. We want to build a community, right? So you don't have to crucify somebody if they say something you maybe disagree with. The whole point is to be able to have, meaningful discussion and interaction. It doesn't mean we all have to agree. Again, Mantis and I don't agree on who we think is our favorite Superman, right? That's fine, right? We don't have to agree. You don't have to agree in the comments. We ask you to at least try to be respectful to the other commenters, right? Don't immediately just go to hate. We all have our opinions.
L for love.
L for love. Yes. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.
Later.